Okay. So hello all. As of now, we have created different applications in ABAP. We have created data dictionary objects like tables, data elements, domains, structures, and programs in SE38, and like function modules in SE37. And you also created the global classes in SE24 to modularize the code, and also you have created include programs, right? Include programs also for modularizing the code. It will we can reuse the code, or we can reuse the existing functionality by using modularization techniques. And so we have the concept of enhancements in SAP ABAP. So what is the enhancement? What is the enhancement? Enhancement means adding additional options without disturbing the standard functionality. Okay, so by using enhancements, we can add additional features or additional options without disturbing the standard functionality. So why SAP provided the concept of enhancements? So what is SAP ERP? It's a product, right? SAP ERP is a product which contains predefined functionalities, ready to use functionalities for the business to run the organization, right? So SAP provided standard functionalities, for example, creating orders, creating bills, right? Generating invoice, right? Generating payslip. So for all these, SAP has already provided standard applications. But if you observe, when you compare two different organizations, most of the business functionalities might be common, but there are some additional functionalities like differently happens in both companies, right? A very few, right? So what SAP did, SAP provided the functionalities, standard functionalities, which are commonly used in any business. But when you compare with your organization, if there are any additional functionalities required, right? If there are any additional functionalities required, so how can you add it to the standard application or standard SAP ERP? By using enhancements, right? So when we go for enhancements and when we go for complete custom application, like creating a new program in SE38, or when you go for enhancement, like adding additional code to the standard program, so how can you decide that? So functional will analyze the business and check the applications in SAP ERP. So if the applications in SAP ERP are suitable to run the business, so they can use the standard applications. But if there is any gap, that means there is a standard application, but that is not 100% supporting the business functionality, right? That is not 100% supporting the business functionality. We need some additional options. Then what we do? Will you create a new application or will you enhance the standard application? It is almost supporting 70% of your business functionality, right? But only 30% of the features are missing. So will you go for complete custom application or enhancing the standard application?
Enhancing the standard
So we
application.
enhance the standard application without creating a complete application from the beginning, right? It will take a lot of time, right, to develop a complete custom application, and there is a lot of effort to test it, right? But the standard applications developed over the years, right, and they are all tested well, right? So we can add our additional functionality by using enhancements, right? If you need a complete custom application, create from the beginning. Go to SC38 or any other workbench option, create the custom application from the beginning, which starts with Z, right? But when we use enhancements, when we have suitable standard application available, but it is not 100% supporting the business functionalities. Some additional features to be added along with standard functionality. So can you tell me any standard application available in SAP? MM01 to create the material, that is a standard application. VA01 to create the sales order, VA02 to change the sales order, VA03 to display the sales order. These are all standard applications. Standard programs are used to execute these applications, right? If you need any additional options, what SAP provided? Enhancements, right? So SAP provided the flexibility for the customers to enhance the standard application depends on their requirements, right? By analyzing the business functionality. So what do you mean by enhancement? If you see, so SAP provided these enhancements are like hooks in between the standard program. If you assume this as a standard program with thousands of lines of code, so what SAP did? SAP provided options to enhance the standard code in between the standard program. AMT containers, where you can write your custom logic along with the standard code. Assume that all the white area is standard code. This one, SAP provided enhancement option where you can add your custom functionality. Are you disturbing the standard code?
No.
We are not disturbing the standard code. We are just adding our additional code here, so that along with your standard code, your custom functionality will also execute. Okay. So SAP provided these enhancement options in between the standard program like hooks. Okay. Wherever required, you can add your additional functionality. If you observe, there are different types of enhancement options available in SAP ABAP. User exits. User exits are nothing but a form of subroutines. How many of you know subroutines? We have created when we are working on modularization techniques, right? To modularize the code. So we call the subroutine using perform and define the subroutine using form and end form. So user exits are subroutines. In between the standard program, SAP provided user exits in the form of subroutines. A empty form and end form. A empty form and end form in between the standard code in different parts of the standard code. So what we need to do to add the additional logic? We need to open that empty form and end form and we need to add our additional logic. Okay. So these should be provided by SAP. These user exits should be provided by SAP in between the standard program. And please remember, mostly user exits are available for sales and distribution module. Okay. Sales and distribution module. Like in S4 HANA, we call it as O2C, order to cash. O2C module. Okay. Order to cash module. So in ECC, we call it as SAP SD, sales and distribution. Mostly the user exits are provided by SAP in sales and distribution applications like VA01, like VF01, billing, right, delivery. These kind of transactions, SAP has provided the user exits to add the additional logic, right? By using perform, this user exit is being called somewhere in the standard program. So we need to keep a breakpoint in the user exit, form and end form to identify what is the suitable user exit for our requirement, right? Few user exits will execute before displaying the screen. Few user exits executes after click on save, right? Few user exits executes when we enter some value. So we need to find a suitable user exits depends on our requirement. By keeping the breakpoint in the user exits, by debugging the standard application, you can understand what is the suitable exit for your requirement. So only one thing you need to remember, user exits are in the form of subroutines. So these subroutines are available in standard program, right? So if you need to add additional logic to the user exit for the first time, we need to change that standard program. For that we need a access key. It will ask for some access key, right, before changing that standard program, because these user exits are placed inside the standard program by SAP, right? To add any additional functionality in between form and end form, first we need to change the standard program. For that we need a access key for the first time, okay, because you are trying to change the standard program, okay. And when you activate that standard program after adding the additional logic, so whenever it is being called using perform, that additional logic will be executed. Is everyone clear about user exits? So to search for the user
Yes, sir.
exits, how to search for the user exits? Usually you can easily search in Google. So what is the user exit available for sales order, right? What are the enhancement options available for sales order, right? So it will automatically provide, there are a lot of blogs there, you can find it. But in general you can search using user exit underscore. If you go to the standard program, for example, I will show you. So in which module applications these user exits are provided? Tell me which module. I just explained it. Which functional module these user exits are available?
Sales and distribution.
Sorry? O2C, order to cash. I just explained it. Are you guys listening to me or not? Listening or not? So sales and distribution module in S4 HANA, it is a O2C module. Okay. So what is the, tell me any standard application available in SD?
FM01, VA01, VA02.
VA01.
VA01, sales order create, to create the new sales order. So if you want to find what are the user exits available for this standard program, first we need to find the standard program of this transaction code. What is VA01? VA01 is a transaction code, a shortcut to execute the program, right? So we need to find what is the program of VA01. Go to system, status.
Sales order.
Go to system, status. This is the program, right? So this is the program available for VA01. Double click on it. Now, what is our requirement? We need to find the user exits available for this sales order create, right? Click on this, find, select in master program and enter user exit underscore and click on continue. If you see, there are a lot of user exits available in this program, right? So how we are calling the user exit? By using perform and subroutine name, right? Perform and subroutine name. But where these user exits are defined, here if you double click on this, I'm trying to find form and end form. If you see, farm and end farm. These are our few user exits are available in this program, ME45 AFZB. Is it a standard program or custom program? It's a standard program, right? Double click on one farm and end farm. So empty subroutines. So SAP provided empty subroutines to add your custom logic. Is it a standard program or custom program?
Standard.
It's a standard program. To add any custom logic in these subroutines, you need to change it, right? Some systems, for the first time, it might ask you a access key because you are trying to change the standard program, right? I'm turning off the modification assistant. So here you need to add your custom logic and activate the standard program. So your additional logic will execute along with your standard application, right? First, you need to find the suitable user exit for your requirement. So most of the times, remember this program, ME45A FZZ. So most of the important user exits related to sales order process are available in this standard program. Okay. Here, mostly to write any additional logic for sales order processing, we use this standard program user exits. You need to keep a breakpoint and find suitable user exit. Okay. User exit read document, user exit save document, user exit save document prepare, right? So you need to find the suitable user exit to write the additional logic. Here you can observe two types of structures, X structure and Y structure. So X structure is the data which you have entered in the screen, and Y structure is the existing data. So like if you take what is the table for sales order header? VBAK. So VBAK. In the user exits, you can find tables like XVBAK, XVBAP, YVBAK, YVBAP. So right. So XVBAK contains whatever the data entered by the user in the screen. Okay. So YVBAK contains the data which is already available in the tables. Okay. When you are trying to change a sales order. Okay. You can find X tables. So you need to use those X tables to get the data and populate the values, right? So these are the user exits. When you activated the standard program, it will execute, right? So we can only implement only once. For each user exit, there is only one implementation possible. Multiple implementations are not possible in user exits. Okay. Next, see customer exits, the other type of enhancement option provided by SAP to add the additional logic. What is it? Customer exits. Don't confuse between user exits and customer exits. Both are different. Okay. So user exits are subroutine based. Customer exits are function module based. Okay. Customer exits are function module based. Right. So both customer exits and user exits follows procedural programming, not object oriented, right? So customer exits also use a procedural programming approach. So customer exits contains a function module. Here we have an empty subroutine, right, with form and end form. But here in customer exits, you can find a function modules instead of subroutines. Within that function modules, SAP provided a empty include program. So SAP provides a empty include program to write your additional functionality. Okay. So in user exits, SAP provided a empty subroutines. But here in customer exits, SAP provided the function modules, and inside the function module, there will be a empty include program, custom include program. It's not standard. So you are not disturbing any standard program here. But in the user exits, you are disturbing the standard program. You are changing the standard program. But in customer exits, you are not changing any standard program. You are adding your logic to the custom include program already provided by SAP. Okay. So as I told you, user exits are mostly available in O2C module, sales and distribution module, not available in for every application. Okay, user exits are not available for every application. But first try to find for customer exit. If there is no suitable customer exit, go for user exits. Check for user exits. Okay. First, how to find the customer exits? How to find the customer exits available for a program, for a application? One way is find using search operation, like find, call customer. This is the keyword, like how we try to find for user exits. Go to program, open the program, and try to find for call customer. Find it. So in the master program means it will search for all dependent objects also. If you see, there are different customer exits available for the sales order creation application. These are all empty function modules. These are all empty function modules. If you see, there are a lot of tables parameter, right? If you go inside the function module, you cannot find any code. It will provide a empty include program. Okay, you can see only empty include program. Okay, this is the one way of finding customer exit. And the other way is, like most preferable way is, first find the package of this function module. So we are saving all our objects in local package, right? But usually all the standard programs will be added to any standard package. First find the package name of this program. How can you find the package name? Open the program, go to attributes. What is a package? VA. VA is the package. So for customer exits, we have two transaction codes we need to use. So what are those transaction codes? CMOD and SMOD. CMOD and SMOD. So we need to use these two transaction codes to implement the customer exits. So SMOD, SMOD transaction code we use to find the customer exit. Open the SMOD. Go to SMOD. If you already know the user exit, sorry, customer exit, enter the name here and for example, this one MGA 00001 display. Go to components. What you can find here? Enhancement for material master table. So this customer exit is to enhance the material master data transaction code. So they provided one function module. Double click on this. Inside the function module, what you can find? There are importing and exporting parameters, all the material related tables, MARA, MARC, MARD, right? And there is one empty include program. This is also provided by SAP. It's a custom program which is starting with Z, right? So to implement the custom logic, double click here and write your additional logic here and activate the include program. You are not disturbing any standard program here, right? If you already know the customer exit name, go to SMOD and implement it. And then there is one more important step we need to perform, that is creating a project in CMOD, CMOD transaction code. You need to create a project and activate the project. Then only your customer exit logic will execute. Otherwise, even though you implemented the code inside include program, it is not going to execute. You need to activate the project. You need to add this customer exit to the project and you need to activate the project in CMOD. Okay, let me open CMOD. You can create your own custom project if it is not already available. Display any existing project. So this is already there. Components or enhancement assignments. No enhancements assigned. How can you assign a project? So this is an empty project available. Now, what is your customer exit? This one, right? MGA add it to the project, enter, save, and activate the project. Okay, once you activated the project, your customer exit logic will be executed. If you want to disable the customer exit functionality, what you need to do? Just disable the project. Before deleting code from the include program, you can simply deactivate the project, so that whatever the logic you implemented is not going to be executed along with the standard logic. Okay, simply deactivate it. To activate it again, activate the project again. Okay, but how can you find a suitable customer exit? There might be a lot of customer exits, multiple customer exits for each standard application. How can you find suitable customer exit? We already know the package name, right? VA. Now go to SMOD to find the customer exits available for this standard application. Press F4 and go to information system. Here package name, right? Enter the package name and click on continue. These are all the customer exits available for the sales order application. So you need to read the description and understand whether it is suitable for your requirement or not. Okay, open any customer exit, double click, display, go to components. What you can find? A function module, and this is the program where this function module is available. 0001 call customer 0001. It will be available like call customer 0001. If you find in the standard program, call customer, so how this function module is being called in the standard program? By using call customer statement. In which program? 45S. It is available in 45S. So it's somewhere in the standard program. We'll check it later when we are implementing. So when you double click on the function module, what you can find here? A custom include program. Double click on the include program to write your additional logic. First time it will display this warning message, right? Press enter to bypass the warning and create the custom include program. Save it in a proper package. For now I am saving in the local object. Write your additional logic based on importing and exporting parameters available in the function module. Use this importing and exporting parameters to write the additional logic in the include program. Okay, and activate the include program. Then what is the next step? Take this customer exit. You need to add it to the project in CMOD. Go to enhancement assignments. You can add multiple customer exits to the same project. But always add related customer exits. All right, related functionality customer exits to one single project. Okay, because if you deactivate the project, all the customer exits will be deactivated, right? For that reason, always use separate package for relevant functionalities. Okay, and add the application. Go to components, activate it. It is inactive. The second customer exit is inactive. Select this, activate it, and go back and activate the project. Now whatever the functionality you implemented in the customer exit will be active, right? So that is about customer exits. Here also only single implementation possible. Not every user can create their own implementations, right? Here only single implementation is possible. In one customer exits, one single functionality is possible. Okay, You cannot add multiple functionalities. Depends on different user requirements. So customer exits and user exits, only single implementation is possible. Is everyone clear about user exits and customer exits? Is everyone clear on this?
Yes, sir.
What are the transaction code we need to use for customer exits? SMOD and CMOD. SMOD is to
SMOD,
find the customer exit. CMOD is to create the project and
to
activate it.
find
project.
Right? Without the project, even though you implemented code inside customer exit, it won't work along with the standard code. You need to create a project and you need to activate the project in CMOD to execute the standard functionality. Okay? Next. In the next session, we'll see examples on each enhancement option. What is the next enhancement option provided by SAP? That is BADI, business
Adding.
add-in. BADI means business add-in. It follows object-oriented programming approach. That means class methods, right? Class methods. So what a BADI contains? Interface methods. What is a customer exit contains? Function module, right? Here in BADI, it contains interface methods. What is the interface in object-oriented ABAP? I think we have already used interfaces, right? Interface contains
Methods without implementation.
methods without any implementation, empty methods without any implementation. How can you implement an interface? By using class, by using another class. You need to add the interface to the class to implement the interface methods. You cannot directly implement interface methods. So what is the interface in object-oriented ABAP? Interface contains methods without implementation, empty methods without any implementation. Okay, to implement the interface method, we need to use a class. So here BADI contains, each BADI definition contains interface methods, right? So these, to implement the BADI, we need to implement the interface methods. Okay, so here multiple implementations are possible. Every developer can create their separate implementation, right? Their separate implementation using BADIs. There are two different transaction codes to implement the BADI. SC18 to find the BADI definition, SC19 that is to create the implementation. Okay, in SC18 we find the BADI definitions provided by SAP, suitable BADI definitions provided by SAP. In SC19 we create implementation for those BADI definitions. Okay, and how to find suitable BADI for our requirement. So how to find suitable BADIs for our requirement.
CL exit handle.
So the better way is using CL exit handler class and get instance method. We need to keep a breakpoint in this method and we need to execute the standard transaction code, for example VA01. So it will return all the BADIs available at a specific position, right? Like before save, after save, right? Before pressing enter, after pressing back, right? If you want to find a suitable BADI definition, you need to use CL exit handler class and get instance method. You need to keep a breakpoint. Now, how to find a BADI definition? In general, you can go to SC18. So select BADI name, press F4. You have same option, information system option. First, I'll show you how BADI definition will look like. Previously, I might have entered any standard BADI, existing BADI. Customer add data CS, display. What you can find here, interface. These are all the
Interface.
interface methods. These are all the interface methods and it's a interface name. So to implement the interface name, you need to create the implementation. How can you find this BADI is suitable for your requirement or not? Go to documentation and read the documentation. They'll provide what is the purpose of this BADI, right? Where you can implement this BADI, what is the functionality of each interface method. By going through the interface methods and the documentation, you can identify whether this BADI is suitable for your requirement or not. Now, very important option in properties. Go to properties. There is one checkbox, multi-use checkbox. If the multi-use checkbox is enabled, then only you can create multiple implementations for the BADI. If this checkbox is not enabled, multiple implementations are not possible. Okay, but in general, BADI allows multiple implementations as long as the multi-use checkbox is enabled. Okay, for some BADIs you can observe SAP internal checkbox is enabled. Those kind of BADIs you cannot create the implementations. Those BADIs are only for SAP internal use. You cannot create the implementations. Okay, if SAP internal checkbox is enabled. Okay, and there is another type of BADI, filter dependent BADI. So we can create different implementations depends on the country code, currency code, like that. So we call that as filter dependent BADIs. Okay, we can create different implementation for each filter value. For example, country wise, India, US, Germany, Japan, like that. You can create a separate implementation, separate functionality. For that you need to pass the filter value, for which value you need to execute the which functionality. Okay, those called filter dependent BADIs. Okay, and how can you say that a BADI is available for multiple implementations? If the multi-use checkbox is enabled. Okay, now how to find the suitable BADI for our application? For example, sales order. Press F4, go to information system and enter the package name VA, right? Continue. So it will display all the BADI definitions available for the transaction code. But you need to find a suitable BADI for our requirement by going through the documentation and interface methods. Okay, get sales document rejection reason, right? This BADI purpose is to get the sales document rejection reason. Somewhere you can find the documentation as well. And for this they have provided the online manual, that is online search, like to get the relevant functionality of this BADI. It's not classic BADI, it's an enhancement spot. I'll explain what is enhancement spot later, right? So this is how you can find the suitable BADI, and where you can create the implementations, in which transaction code?
SC19.
In SC19.
SC19.
So go to SC19. Here, create implementation option, classic BADI. Enter the BADI definition name, right? I'm just using some BADI. So enter the BADI definition name and create the implementation, right? Create the implementation, and inside the interface methods, you need to write the additional logic and activate the implementation, right? I'll create simple implementation here. Provide the implementation name ZDemo material logic. Continue. Provide the short text. Provide some short text. Go to interfaces. So you need to double click on the interface method to create the implementation. You can observe here, one class is automatically generated. Why this class is generated? ZCL IM demo material logic. Because can we implement the interfaces directly? We need a class, right, to implement the interfaces.
No.
We need a class to implement the interfaces. That's why a class is automatically generated. Double click on the interface method. Not writing any code. I'll just keep it empty for now. Activate the interface method and select all methods and everything related to this BADI implementation, because it's generated on class also, right? For this BADI implementation, it is automatically generating one class to implement the interface methods. So your interface method is active. Now go back and activate the implementation. Your implementation is active now. So whenever you execute the material master transaction code, right, it will automatically execute this custom logic, whatever you implemented inside the interface method. So if you can open this class in SC24 as well. Go to SC24. Display. Go to interfaces. That BADI interface is automatically added to this class. Go to methods. So the methods are automatically added to the class. If you click on this, you can see some empty implementation. We did not write any code, right? And how can you, for example, this is a multi-use BADI. Multiple implementations are possible, right? Display. Multi-use checkbox is enabled, right? So multiple implementations are possible. How can you know what are all the implementations are already implemented? Go to implementations in SC18, display the BADI definition, and go to implementations overview. So whatever the implementations are highlighted in yellow color, right, they are the active implementations. These are inactive. These implementations are created for some reason. These are inactive. Okay. So these are all. So this is the implementation I've just created. So these are all multiple implementations which are already available, which are already created by different users. Okay. So it's very important interview question as well. How can you know like what are the existing implementations of the BADI? Go to implementation overview, where you can see all the existing implementations. Okay. So BADIs can be classic BADI or filter dependent BADI, where you can pass filter values for different implementations. We use filter BADIs to implement the different implementation for each country or each company code, right? If there is any separate functionality for each company code. So the important transaction codes SC18 and SC19. Right?
19.
And this follows object-oriented ABAP. Multiple implementations are possible, right? But in customer exits, only single implementation is possible. You cannot add
Implementation.
same customer exit to the multiple projects. It won't allow you to add same customer exit to multiple projects. You can add one customer exit to only one project. Okay. That's about BADI. And next we have enhancement framework, where we have implicit and explicit enhancements. When you try to find customer exits and BADIs for our requirement to add the custom logic, but you couldn't find any customer exits or BADIs for your requirement, then we need to check for enhancement framework like implicit enhancement or explicit enhancement. The first preference should be BADI. First check for BADIs, available BADI definitions. If BADI definitions are not available, check for customer exits. If customer exits are not available, check for user exits. If any of them are not available, go for implicit enhancements or explicit enhancements, right? So how to find implicit enhancements? First, let's see implicit enhancements. So implicit enhancements are available in every standard program or in any standard function module, standard classes, everywhere these are available. So how can you find these implicit enhancements? Let's say this is a standard program, right? To add any custom implementation, If you can't find any BADI or customer exit, try for implicit enhancements. So how these implicit enhancements are provided by SAP? For each program, at the end of the program, here they provide an enhancement option at the end of the program. If you open the include program, again here in the include program, they will provide one enhancement, implicit enhancement at the end of the program. If you take subroutines, form and end form, one implicit enhancement will be available at the beginning of the form and end of the form. So how can you display this implicit enhancement options? By default, it is not displaying. How can you display? Go to, edit, enhancement options, show implicit enhancement options. Go to edit, open the standard program, go to edit, enhancement options, show implicit enhancement options. Go to the end of the program. Here you can see these dotted lines, right? This is a implicit enhancement. You can right click on this. Before that, you need to click on this enhance symbol. There is a spiral button, right? Enhance. First you need to click on this, right click on this and create the implementation. Like click on enhance, right click on this, enhancement operations, create implementation, create a custom implementation, provide the implementation name ZIM. Click on create, save in a proper package, not in the local object. Select the implementation which you have created, this one, right? Click on continue. Now here in between the enhancement and enhancement, you can write your custom logic. Right now it is inactive. Write your custom logic. Some logic, right? I'm not writing anything. Right click on it. Place the cursor on enhancement name and activate the enhancements. Whatever the custom logic you implemented inside the implicit enhancement, we need to activate it after implementing it. Okay. This is called implicit enhancement option. Okay. So you need to, how to find, go to edit, show implicit enhancement options. These are available at the end of the program or beginning of the subroutine or end of the subroutine. So it is active now. This is active. You can see active version. So this implicit enhancement is active. So whatever the custom logic you implemented will be automatically executed. I am just deleting it. Undo implementation. Undo implementation. I don't want this implementation. Now open any include program. I will show some include program with some user exits, subroutines, so that you can understand the difference, how it will display in the subroutines. Now observe here, we have some empty subroutines here. Now edit, enhancement operations, show implicit enhancements. One implicit enhancement will be available for the include program at the end. And if you observe the subroutines, one at the top and one at the bottom. You can see two implicit enhancements in each subroutine, right? One at the beginning and one at the end. Depends on your requirement, you can implement it, right? All these dotted lines are implicit enhancements. Similarly, you can find these implicit enhancements in function modules, class methods also, standard class methods also. Display the implicit enhancement and create the implementation. Depends on your requirement. Okay, and we have explicit enhancement options like enhancement spots, enhancement points, right? And enhancement sections also available. These comes under explicit enhancement options. So we see all these things in the next session. Is everyone clear on BADI, customer exit and user exit, and implicit enhancement? Is everyone clear on this?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So the next session will create some examples on user exits, customer exits, and BADIs. Okay. In the meantime, all of you please prepare the basics. Okay, whatever we created earlier in previous sessions.